ABC Action News. Here you go. Jelly bean aficionados will now be able to get high with something stronger than a sugar rush. What's
ABC.
wrong in that?
It doesn't get you high.
That's not how any of this works.
Free Talk Live.
Maybe you had some CBD.
Could be.
Did you?
There's a chance.
Well, you probably did because.
Well, I mean, I've smoked some weed, and weed's got CBD in
There's
it.
a good chance there's CBD in that.
And there's always varying portions. We're going to talk about how CVS, you recognize that? The drugstores that are on a lot of corners
There's
in America.
one right down here. Yep.
In 8 different states are going to begin selling CBD every few years. One of the things they did was they legalized hemp, which is definitely pushed more hemp out there to be used for CBD uses. So while in North Texas a store was raided and $50,000 worth of CBD was taken by the police, we also have CVS on the same day coming out saying that they are going to begin selling this in a few stores.
Wow.
This is coming to us from Reason. The rapid social and commercial acceptance of marijuana and marijuana-related products continues apace, with America's largest pharmacy chain announcing it will begin carrying cannabidiol CBD oil.
That's huge. That's huge. I didn't realize they were the largest pharmacy chain. That's amazing.
Yeah, I always kind of picture Walgreens, but that's probably because
must
there's
have outdone 'em.
more Walgreens around me.
Yeah.
Curaleaf Holdings, Inc. announced Wednesday that some of its CBD products would be sold at CVS stores in at least 8 states, MarketWatch reported Thursday. In a statement provided to MarketWatch, CVS said it was already selling CBD products in 8 states: Alabama, California, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, and Tennessee. Recreational marijuana is legal in California and Colorado, while medical marijuana is legal in Illinois and Maryland. And the other 4 states have legalized CBD products that are low in tetrahydrocannabinol. That's THC. That's the stuff that does get you high.
When is the federal government going to finally ease up?
I don't know.
I mean, all this economic activity.
When we pry it from their cold, dead hands.
I think you're right on that one, Rich.
Can't happen soon enough.
855-450-FREE is our number if you'd like to call and join in.
Doesn't look like they'll be dying anytime soon, however.
Sadly, but we can still fight. This is Free Talk Live. CVS, that hometown brand, that what turns out to be the biggest pharmacy chain in the United States, beginning to sell CBD products in their stores in 8 different states, which we think is pretty good news. And the question Ian posed right before just a minute or two ago was, when is the government going to just ease up on everything cannabis? We're seeing all this economic activity in the legal markets, in the auxiliary markets, which I think CBD would be. You know what I mean? It's not pot. It is one of the many chemicals that is in pot.
The thing is, they're going to let go. They're not going to let go of it. They're going to channel it into a cartelized market so that only the members of the club can profit from it. Mm-hmm. That's the point. It's a big club, as George Carlin said, and you're not in it.
Absolutely. CVS actually selling CBD products in their stores.
They're getting ready to roll it out. That's cool.
They are indeed. And
Jump
CBD,
on the bandwagon.
Cannabidiol is one of those components that make up marijuana and hemp.
People swear by it, by the way. I don't know if you've ever met any of these people, but they swear by it for like pain relief and all kinds of stuff.
I am one of these people. When I went to work for Keith Murphy out in Manchester, I hadn't done, it was kick-ass, 12 hours a day, plus you're cutting yourself, you're burning yourself, you're bruising yourself.
You're in the kitchen.
And yeah, I was working as a dishwasher in a kitchen, and
that could have
I
described
would go
a
home.
whole bunch of really weird occupations.
Yeah, and I would go home, and I had a thing of CBD cream that I bought for my mother.
Right.
Because she
Wait, you bought for your mother or brought from your mother?
I bought it for my mother. And unfortunately, my father is a pharmacist, and he was like, well, we don't know what the dosage is in that. We don't know what the numbers are. We don't know exactly what it is. So he didn't want her to use it. So I brought it home, and I put it on all my burns and my scrapes and cuts and bruises, and they healed much faster. My sore muscles healed faster. It helped with, I had pain in my lower back that I've had for years.
Right.
And rubbing that CBD cream on that helped it go away. I've had shoulder pain for years. This stuff really worked wonders.
So it's interesting. I've never even brought this up, but I take terpenes, which is another form of way to get CBD into your system. That's a little bit more floral as opposed to just oils and things like that. But I've been doing this daily for about 2 months, and
So wait, it's oral? The terpenes?
Yeah, and most oils, you can get oils that are just drops. You take them sublingually,
Under your
put a little
tongue.
drop under your tongue. And I've been taking these for a couple months. It's definitely helped with my anxiety.
Really?
So I'm definitely more relaxed during the day. And
I hate anxiety.
I do too.
That stuff makes me nervous.
It makes me crazy. We have been talking about CBD, cannabidiol, one of those compounds that's found in marijuana, and it's found in hemp, and it has a lot of people excited. A lot of people, myself included, find some health benefit from taking it. And Rich, you were talking about how it helped you. You used a cream to deal with some burns and some aches and pains.
Yeah, burns, aches,
great.
pains, scrapes, just about anything.
And a number of states have specifically legalized CBD products. Sadly, Texas is not one of them. I was briefly touched on a story, maybe we'll cover it on another night, where they have just raided a company. The Texas police have raided a company and seized $50,000 worth of CBD products because of the war on CBD, which I really don't get. Keep in mind, folks, CBD does not get you high. You don't feel anything other than maybe some relief after taking it. The parts of
Also,
marijuana.
keep in mind, it's none of your damn business what I feel.
Thank you, Rich. We've been reading from an article from Reason Magazine, and it talked to, like I said, that's kind of where we're at so far. The federal government's excruciatingly slow acceptance of CBD means that only one product, the anti-seizure drug Epidiolex, has received FDA approval. Other CBD products made from marijuana remain illegal under federal law, while CBD products made from hemp now reside in a legal gray area after the 2018 Farm Bill saw hemp decriminalized at the federal level.
Well, I know they're being sold in Keene at the little corner shop that takes cryptocurrency. They've got CBD products there.
The one that blew me away was in the very, very small New Hampshire town I live in, has a very small little general store where you can run down and pick up a loaf of bread or a bottle of wine or some fresh cut meat.
Yep.
And CBD products at the front register.
Awesome.
And that is really cool. Another thing I saw here in Keene, New Hampshire today, driving around, was a big sign outside of another convenience store that says, "We sell Kratom."
Really?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I see that in a lot of convenience stores.
I haven't seen it on a big sign alongside the road.
That's
along
amazing.
I've never
Winchester.
taken this stuff. I've got some of it. I've just had it sitting around. I've
intrigued in
never
trying
gotten
that
around to
for
taking
pain and things like that.
Yeah, people really like
Okay.
CBD. People rave about kratom, and
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
because it gets you high. In theory, it could, but it also is very apparently effective for people.
Yeah. So
Whatever
hopefully
ails them.
by next Thursday, maybe I'll have my my Kratom report and,
All right.
and see how that works for
I
me.
believe it's in pill form.
I've
gel
seen it
caps or
that way.
something,
I've
right?
seen it in gel
I've
caps.
got it in gel caps.
I've seen it like a loose leaf tea. I think a lot of people drink it like a tea too. So
that sounds right.
hey, I'm a rookie, so I don't know what the heck. I'll find out all there is to know about kratom by next week. The idea.
Fill me in. We'll do a kratom tasting part.
There we go. As reasons Mike Riggs explored in a February feature, there's still a raging debate over the medicinal value of CBD, even though most states have realized that there's nothing dangerous about letting people use
who's
it.
Debating? What's the other side?
Let me read his quote. The idea that CBD is a vitamin or should be treated like one is an increasingly popular argument among cannabis reform advocates. Armentano and Cott both mentioned in interviews as perhaps the ideal way forward. The FDA could require marketers of cannabis products to undergo facility inspections, and it could enforce strict labeling requirements as it does with nutritional supplements. But it wouldn't require cannabis products to undergo extensive clinical trials as it does now.
If it were classified as a vitamin?
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting where that all follows out. That little article continues. Treating CBD products like nutritional supplements would, of course, require the FDA to cede some of its power.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
The agency can entirely prevent a pharmaceutical drug from going to market because pharmaceuticals are expensive to make, and their values is explicitly
part of the
tied
reason a pharmaceutical is
FDA
expensive.
Approval.
Part of the reason pharmaceuticals are expensive to make is because of the FDA.
It's all about the FDA.
Yeah, and the billions of dollars you have to spend to get through their process.
Yeah, and it's
if you
again,
get through.
Other countries. You want to know why other drugs are less expensive overseas and in other countries? It's because they do not have the FDA. By comparison, nutritional supplements are cheaper to make and don't require FDA approval before going to market. Nutritional supplement companies are like the turtles in a Mario Brothers game. The FDA can and does bop them, but the ratio of regulators to regulatees favors the latter. So, yeah, it is kind of interesting. This story continues. That sort of regulation sounds far better than the type of overzealous enforcement that was on full display earlier this week in Duncanville, Texas, when armed police officers raided 2 stores and seized more than $50,000 in CBD products.
No, wait, were these state cops?
State cops,
okay.
according to local news reports.
Texas is, of course, one of the worst states as far as cannabis reform is concerned. They basically have done nothing, from what I understand.
Yeah. Duncanville police say they have removed, quote, hundreds of pounds of CBD products, unquote.
Oh, those heroes.
From 2 stores. Not all heroes wear capes, Ian.
Do they even know what they're doing? Do they even have any idea what CBD is and that you can't get high off of it? I can tell you that not everybody does know this. I've got another story here, and just
the thing is, they don't care. I don't think if you're getting high. What they care about is that if you're buying something that works, you're not buying their crap.
The police aren't selling the crap, though.
No,
they're just enforcing.
But who controls the government? The government is controlled by industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
you're saying they're doing the bidding of the pharmaceutical industry?
Exactly, they're doing the bidding of the pharmaceutical industry. Every one of the illegal drugs, or just about every one of the illegal drugs, and the big one I can think of that doesn't have any legitimate use is cocaine, because cocaine is just a drug that makes you want to do cocaine.
No. They used to numb people with cocaine.
Yeah, they use it for dental work. That's
ear, nose,
true.
and throat guys. Those guys still prescribe it. Not prescribe it, but they'll use it during procedures.
But all of the other all of the drugs, then let's just go to all of them, have some purpose for which they're very, very good.
I agree.
And for which Big Pharma will sell you an expensive substitute.
Right.
But Big Pharma doesn't have a patent on heroin as a painkiller, so heroin's going to be cheaper than oxycodone, and that's why you can't have heroin.
Well, there's some other things. Don't forget about the fact that we have to disenfranchise black voters. That
Well,
was another key aspect of
that
making
too.
heroin, right? And that was that's not me saying that. That was I think H.R. Haldeman or John Ehrlichman talking about
John
discussions.
Ehrlichman, when he got out of prison.
Yeah, talking about that in conversations with Nixon before he ramped up the war on drugs. But that's the thing. I mean, we recognize, at least we in this room, I think, recognize that the United States is not a constitutional republic. It's an oligarchy, which means that government itself is controlled by a very small number of people.
I would argue that a constitutional republic is still a variety of oligarchy because it's still controlled by a very few people.
That's
But-
an interesting way to put it.
You know, there's no good way to force your will on unconsenting others. There's no moral way to do that. No, it just doesn't work. Just like there's no moral way to rape. It doesn't exist.
I hear you. We've been discussing CBD and a couple different aspects of that. First of all, the good news, CVS, yes, that CVS is going to begin selling CBD products in their stores in at least 8 states to begin with. Plans to go bigger than that once that ramps up. And on the downside, a bunch of idiots in Texas police officers in Duncanville.
But you repeat yourself.
I know that. Officers in Duncanville, Texas, raided a couple convenience stores and seized CBD. When asked why they seized the CBD, they said, because that's marijuana.
No, it's
Swine.
not. No, it's not.
No, it's not. It is.
I hope they got him on the record, too, saying that, because that might be useful in court.
We're going to follow that story because I really hope these guys get shown for the idiots that they truly
Then
are.
again, it is Texas, so I don't know if they'll succeed.
Well, you never know. And that's not disparaging the good people of Texas, but I am going to
Just the bad
disparage a
people of
whole
Texas
lot
who
of
run
your
the government.
police.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad police stories that come out of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Ian, you had something that you wanted to touch on?
Well, since we've been talking about CBD, I saw in the news the other day the news that the Jelly Belly founder is now manufacturing CBD-infused jelly beans.
I would eat those all day long.
Well, no, you wouldn't necessarily, because apparently they're might be a little pricey per bean.
Oh, come on.
They're saying here some vendors have been selling these CBD jelly beans for $2 each.
Do they list a dosage or
Yes.
anything?
Yeah,
I
I'll
know a
get-
little bit about those.
10 milligrams of CBD.
Oh, my God, that's low.
So that's a high price then,
Yeah.
is what you're saying. $2
Really
per-
high. So if you look at like some of the name brand CBD oils or things like that, usually the dosage, and this is sort of like for a day, is somewhere around 100 to 350 milligrams.
I've seen
Of
them up
CBD.
to 1,000.
I believe that.
And you said that's
yeah.
oil? What was that product?
Well, terpenes, which is it's what gives plants like marijuana their smell. So they're very aromatic. When they taste better to me when I put it under
This
my
was
tongue.
the sublingual stuff.
Sublingual type.
Okay,
stuff.
so wait. So the full bottle or whatever is 100 something?
No.
Or
It's in an eyedropper, so
each
you
drop.
measure out 100 milligrams worth, and you place 100 milligrams underneath your tongue.
I
So it's
see.
100 milligrams per milliliter?
Something like that. It
Okay.
depends on the strength, and some of them you'll have your directions on your.
How many doses per bottle do you get?
I've never really noticed. I just sort of use them until I'm out.
How much does one bottle cost?
If it's 100 milligrams, and this is Keene, New Hampshire prices, somewhere around $30, and that lasts for a good
Okay.
long time. If you get a higher concentration, then the price is
So
going
wait,
to be
just to be
higher
clear, 100 milligrams is
per
that's,
dose.
That's per dose. So there's multiple doses in the bottle. You're just not sure how many of them.
Right. I've never really paid attention.
So these are way more expensive at $2 per.
Yeah,
per-
I'm just doing the math going, this is
Yeah.
really crazy high.
Well, it may be.
I hope they're delicious.
It may also be because they are in high demand. So, according to the story here, and by the way, I'd like to let listeners know this story is terribly researched by ABC News, and I had to double check just to make sure this was an actual news site. It's actually from Tampa Bay, WFTS, ABC Action News. Here you go. Jelly bean aficionados will now be able to get high with something stronger than a sugar rush. What's wrong in that?
ABC.
It doesn't get you high.
That's not how any of this works.
CBD does not
Idiots.
get you high.
Yeah.
You feel no different after you take it.
Right. So we're in sentence number 1
Unless
here.
you were in pain.
That's true.
So now we know how badly they've screwed this article up in the first sentence. Here's more. The creator of the most recognized brands, or one of the most recognized brands of jelly beans, has debuted a line of cannabis-infused sweets for candy lovers to enjoy.
Stop. Cannabis infused?
Well, hemp
they-
is the cannabis plant.
Right.
Well, it comes from cannabis.
It's still
okay. So it is infused with parts of cannabis, not necessarily all the parts of cannabis.
It's a
but
misleading
THC
statement.
isn't all the parts of cannabis either.
Right.
And we infuse things with that.
Yeah, it's a misleading statement at best, I would say. Last month, Candyman David Klein, responsible for the creation of Jelly Belly jelly beans in 1976, announced the founding of his new company, Spectrum Confections, that will offer, get this is this got to be the best line, that will offer the psychedelic treats in 38 flavors.
Oh, my God. I'm going to trip off CBD?
Wow.
What?
Well, if nothing else, he's got it. If he could always give up the jelly bean business and spend his money on defamation suits.
My God. For listeners that aren't clear, if it's just CBD and it doesn't get you high, you cannot call it psychedelic. Unless you're going to say the color, the variety of colors in the candies are psychedelic or something like
Right.
that. I mean,
it's absurd.
Yeah, I mean, if you call a tail a leg, how many legs does a dog have?
the company tests each recipe to ensure the correct amount of cannabidiol, or CBD, is added to each bean. According to their website, every bean is infused with 10 milligrams of CBD, and Spectrum Confections doesn't process CBD with a higher content than 0.3%.
I don't
know what
think,
that means.
I don't think that even makes sense. Usually when I see these kinds of sentences, they're saying we're doing CBD, but we're going to ensure that there is not a THC content that's higher than something like 0.1. In other words, you're not going to get high off
Right.
of it. So who knows with this article? Who knows? Okay, please continue.
This is weird. Customers 18 and older must provide their own CBD. Along with a lab report, so the company can make sure they're, quote, compliant with laws in handling your product, unquote. So you have to actually...
Now I understand the architecture of the $2 jelly bean.
Now it makes sense.
Why it's so expensive, you mean?
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
So they're doing special orders for people, is what it sounds like. But then they're
So
saying
can customers under 18 get it without bringing their own CBD?
Well, and then it
Oh,
says here
God.
some vendors have been selling the beans for about $2 each. So I don't get it. If they're taking special orders from customers that have to provide their own CBD, why are vendors selling it? It's confusing. This is a poorly written article, but if it's true that there are CBD jelly beans, that's kind of cool.
It is.
Is there a
we're
byline
going-
on that article? What's his name?
The author, you mean?
Yeah.
No,
We're
it's
going to
just-
go back to the phones.
just
where we
ABC
got-
News.
We got Bill
Okay.
calling in from Texas, wants to talk about CBD. He's listening to 1340 AM. Bill, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, yeah, I live near El Paso in a small town, Sierra Blanca,
Welcome.
and I was listening to your comments about CBD and the arrest of confiscation of $50,000 worth.
In
And that
Duncanville.
puzzles me because all over El Paso you can buy CBD oil at all the different vape shops. It's everywhere. I don't understand.
Are you familiar with Duncanville?
Duncanville, I know where it is. That's in East Texas. isn't it?
Yeah. So we were reading some quotes from the Duncanville police who said, they were asked why they did this, and they said, because that's marijuana. So it sounds like it sounds very localized, but it's always troubling when we hear these things. Go ahead.
So it wasn't the Department of Public Safety, the Texas DPS. It wasn't them that did it.
No, it looks like it was the statement that I read was from the
State police?
No, it was from the Duncanville
Local PD.
police, local PD. They're the ones that are keeping you safe.
This could just be a political targeting then. If what you're saying is that there are other stores that you're familiar with that are carrying this product, it could very well be that they piss somebody off within the police department, or somebody at the some competitor has a friend who's in the government and they use them against their competitor perhaps. It wouldn't be unheard of for that to happen.
That's right. Well, I don't know, but maybe I know I'm hearing it's legal in Texas because my girlfriend just bought some there in El Paso, and they told us, it's the different stores all over. So
well, that's
I
good
don't
to know.
Yeah.
where that's coming from.
I'm of the opinion we
laughing out loud that it was Beto O'Rourke, who I know is a big proponent of legalizing marijuana.
It's kind of hard to hear you. I don't know if you're on a speakerphone or something.
But I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think, from what I've heard, that it's legal CBD oil in Texas, but I was just really amazed.
For our listeners, Bill is not an attorney. Do not take legal advice.
Confiscated their product here in Texas when our legislature.
Yeah. Bill, thanks for the call, man.
Yeah,
Kind of
I
a
do
janky phone
appreciate
line.
it. Yeah, it's kind of off and on there, but I do appreciate the call.
Free Talk Live.
Listen live 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern or grab the podcast. It's all at freetalklive.com.